Hey, welcome everybody. It's the Wizards pregame. Got Cardell Dudley Jr. here, Wilson Tarvey Jr. The Washington Wizards. We know what they're coming off of. Coming off a rough loss at home. We talked about this a couple nights ago. They 3 really good quarters. They built a lead on the Sixers by as many as 19, even leading by as many as 9 with about 5 minutes left in regulation. Unfortunately for them, the Sixers forced overtime. They went ahead to take that game. The Sixers remain undefeated tonight. They get another big test, another undefeated team, a little bit different. The reigning champion, Oklahoma City Thunder, will be hosting the Washington Wizards tonight. Cardell, before I asked your thoughts on tonight's game, just wanted to share, some house notes. Options were announced. I know you shared some of that earlier today, so just going to go back over that real quick. The Washington Wizards announced today that the team exercised their third-year rookie scale team option on Bub Carrington, forwards Keyshawn George, guard A.J. Johnson, and forward/center Alex Sarr. The team also exercised their fourth-year rookie scale team options on guard forward Bilal Coulibaly and guard forward Cam Whitmore. The thing with Bilal Coulibaly, gets a chance to make his debut tonight. So, Cardell, your thoughts on not only that, but we've been talking about keys to the game against some other teams. I can remember last year you were waxing poetically, giving so much praise to the Thunder about a random Tuesday evening game, I believe, when I think I'm saying it right. Tuesday evening game when they came to DC and the standard was the standard. Maybe a month or so, a couple months before they made their championship run.
Yeah, to get started with the option news, obviously it's good, well deserved. 1 year, some change of Bub, Sar, Keyshawn to get the thing going. Obviously, Bilal been doing it a couple years, putting in work. Cam as well, and AJ. What it does is for now, they can relax, knowing where they're going. That they're covered for another year, and they can just focus on basketball. Now, how they play will dictate what goes down later in the year. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe in the future, but we're not there now. The way Keyshawn Sarr is playing, Bub's shot has been off, but he's made an impact in other areas of the game as far as defensively, trying to make a play, bringing energy, just staying upbeat, trying to impact winning. And that shows his character or whatnot, because a lot of young players, when the shot is off, you could lose them. And he just staying with it and still being unselfish. Just like I said, just playing winning basketball, just trying to impact winning any way he can. And that's a plus, especially for this franchise over the last few years. They haven't had many players with that type of mindset. We know what Coulibaly can bring when he's healthy. Just a Swiss Army knife type of wing, especially defensively. Athletic wing. Does a lot of different things. Keyshawn Alex speaks for himself. I believe, Sarr's last game, to me, is the best game of his young career. But it also shows the standard has elevated for you. No more 10-6 Sarr. You know what I've been saying all year. I feel like he's good enough to average 20 and 10. And what most people don't know, he's averaging around 5 assists a game as well. Let me be exact with that before people get on me. Let me, make sure I'm on point with that. Yeah, right now he's averaging 19.5 points, 8.8 rebounds, 4.5 assists a game, and 2 blocks on 55% shooting from the field, 36% shooting from deep, and 83% shooting from the free throw line. Just maintain what you've been doing, and we are good with that. The last big we had that put up those numbers, I'm talking about the Wizards, and this Anton Jameson. When we were in college and school, that's how far we got to go by. Anton Jameson, the last one that probably put up those numbers, because he was all-star with that type of efficiency and stuff. So, you maintain that, you have something that you haven't had in 20-some years. A big that can produce on both ends and efficiently. That's just, you need that nowadays for sure. Keyshawn's Keyshawn. He impacting everything, man. Just keep doing what he's doing as well. We just need Bub to hit some shots. Cam, stay within the team concept and just do what you do and defend. He does that. He could be a spark plug off the bench and give teams problems, man. He should be able to come in and just And he kind of doing it, but I feel like he has another level he can get to if he just stay plugged in, so to speak, man. And it's nothing for him to come off the bench, average between 10 to 15 points, 5 rebounds, and just play good defense. That's an asset, man. You know what I'm saying? You never know. He consistently does that. Shoot, who knows? Keep my like, hey, man, he deserves more of a bigger role. And that's how you get a bigger role and stuff like that. You earn the coach's trust. So Koulibaly makes his debut. Eager to see, now that he's healthy, what he added to his game. It'll take a little bit to get his rhythm. But when he gets that, it should be fun. But, yeah, all in all, smart move by the Wizards because it kind of eliminates the worry of, like, I got to get mine because I don't know what's going to happen next year or in the offseason or about the trade deadline. So it kind of eliminates that. Even though it could still happen, you still at least know you're covered for a year, regardless of what happens. Now, to the game, obviously we know who they're playing against, the defending champs. The defense speaks for itself. They still got another year, still top 5 in the league in defense. The thing with it's a contrast of styles. We all know the Wizards like to get up and down. We know the pace, the third in the NBA pace, 106 game. Oklahoma City, on the other hand, complete opposite. They're 97.3, they're 26 in pace. But they're 5th in points allowed, only allowing 110.8 points per game. And the defensive rating is 105.1, which is 2nd in the NBA. Another thing to also keep an eye on is the rebounding. Oklahoma City is 5th in the NBA, averaging 49.4 rebounds a game. To many who probably ain't been paying attention, the Wizards, right behind them, 7th in the NBA, 40.5 rebounds per game. And that's a combination of the wings getting down there, getting the boards, and Sarr elevating his game so far this year. So that's a part of defense, man. You got to be a good defensive team. Not only you got to get this, you got to get the board. And that's something that's going to be a clash tonight because, between, with OKC, what they're bringing. They got guards they'll put on Sarr and just be like, make sure he don't get off. You know what I'm saying? It's a very physical, defensive-minded team. But you also you can't ignore like Isaiah Hartenstein and, you know what I mean? Chet, even though he's out tonight, if he was normally playing, they'll put Lou Dort. Hell, they'll put Caruso on Sarr, and they can go small. So that's why tonight it's essential for Sarr to play big like he did on Tuesday. Because they're going to need him to, you know what I mean? Especially with Shed out now, you really only dealing with Hartenstein, so to speak. Even though they got a lot of undersized bigs they can throw at them. Like Jalen Williams, who's big last year, you know what I'm saying, who got the bulk to bang with him, even though he's not as tall. Or they'll put Lou Dort on him or Caruso on him if need be, but that's still size advantage for you. Punish him. If you could do it with Embiid, you can do it with a guard. Even though Embiid is not the most fleet of foot and the most dedicated defender, you know what I'm saying? Just be aggressive because even with OKC, you're not just going against that person guarding you. You're going against the whole team. So when you make a move, they're going to swarm you. They're like piranhas. That's why you have to stay aggressive to make them come in. Somebody's going to be open, and then that plays into the Wizards' hands. And then it's just about making a play and making a shot. And that's just something we're going to have to see. But they got to get back on defense because, yes, there's going to be stretches where the Wizards are not going to be able to score. You got to be able to sustain on the other end where they don't score either. Otherwise, if they're getting whatever they want on offense and then you having stretches throughout the game you can't score, we already know what that's going to lead to. It's going to lead to another loss, you know what I'm saying? So you got to match it. They know what they're up against, and this is a good test. I mean, Tuesday was a good test, but you didn't quite know. You see the Sixers high, but you ain't know if that was for real. Now you understand it is legit firsthand after they came back and got y'all. Cool. Now you're going against the champs. This is a for real test, you know what I mean? They embarrassed y'all at home last time y'all played earlier this year. Last season in January, came in with dubbed them or something like that. Got them about it pretty much at 3/4. But it's not just that, they're the champs. So this is how you measure yourself to see, all right, just how far are we away or how close we are. Maybe we're closer than we realize. We just got to finish games and do what we need to do. But, I love it. But with all that said, man, you got to deal with Shea. You got to deal with Shea. Is it easy? No. Never said it was. MVPs and finals MVPs are not easy to deal with. obviously. You got to make it tough on him. As good as his numbers are, as good as he played, they're undefeated 5-0. He's still kind of rusty in some areas. Like he's averaging 34, 6 and 5, 1.4 steals, 1.4 blocks, only turning it over 2.4 times a game. 51% from the field, but his 3-point shooting has been off. He's 23% from deep. So if he out there, kind of play off on him, play to the percentages unless he start hitting them, then you got to get back to it, because if he get in the mid-range, it's over. You know what I'm saying? That's it. So keep him out there on the 3, let him bomb away, and try to, corral him if he try to drive. And then he's shooting 85% from the free throw line. We all know he's great at drawing fouls. So you got to guard him smart. You got to guard him tough, but don't give him anything. And that's why they're tough to beat, man. So, yeah, this is a good test for the Wizards. We just gonna really see, and it's gonna take a total team effort. It can't be just 1 or 2 players showing up and other players not doing what they gotta do. You gotta play efficient, bring the ball on both sides for 48 minutes especially to beat them at their crib. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm definitely looking at that, and the late game execution. If it's a close game, the guard play, it has to get better. It's just, there's no way of getting around that, man. It gotta be better. CJ was kind of brought in to be the vet to understand that, but none of them really played well down the stretch. And they lost to Philly. That's why Philly came back and got them in overtime, man. OKC not even gonna give you that chance. If you don't play well, they just gonna get you up out of there early. You ain't even gonna get to overtime. So, especially with Shea on that, man, as great as Tyrese Maxey is, and it's as much promise as the young fella VJ has shown. Again, this level is like Shea has gotten it done at the highest level possible, and that's something Maxey's trying to get to. So, even though he's not far behind, he still haven't got there yet. Shea's proven. So, when you're dealing with somebody that's proven, you got to prove like we coming too. And that's what I'm saying. It's just a good matchup to prove that, man. So, the Wizards, the front office took care of you. Start handling business on the court, man. That's how that's how you get your money. That's how you secure a spot where you don't have to move around too much. That's how you secure a role that you are pleased with. That's how you secure a lot of things. It starts with your play on the court, and that's what they need to do. Handle business, man.
Like you said, with Sar, with no chat in this one, you coming off a big performance. You've been consistent, this season, and your growth. It's another one of them nights where take advantage of it. See how much of it you can swing this game in your team's favor with Chet being out, because you are coming off a big game. You have shown growth. OKC, the developmental program they have over there is in full swing. It's always somebody. We see Aaron Wiggins, Casey Wallace in the last couple seasons. Aaron Wiggins, we'll start with AJ Mitchell and Aaron Wiggins, averaging 18 and 14 respectively off the bench, although Wiggins has started 2 games. That's outstanding production from your depth. We know they're missing J-Dub, which is a big piece, obviously, but that's beyond the call of filling in, right? It's 2 guards you get 18 and 14 from. Wiggins, and we've seen him kind of slowly grow into his role over there, getting better and better now. That's something you can trust over there in terms of you can give him minutes, he's going to come in and make an impact. Not only talk about the points that both of those guys are averaging this year, but they're getting closer to playing 30 minutes a night, which means that there's trust there. So shout out to both of them. They are folks Washington's going to have to pay attention. You already listed all the defensive stats, which is why OKC is OKC. With the glass, Washington's only 2 spots behind them. But I'm going to keep saying this all year. That's an area in which, if you can take advantage of it, can always help you. If you can limit any team, I don't care. Obviously, if it's a great team, it's even better. To 1 shot per trip, that's great. What you were just talking about defensively, Lord, they have to be beyond disciplined dealing with Shea. That means keep your hands to yourself. How many times do we talk about it? At times they play defense with their hands more than their feet. OKC is the worst team in the league to have that disease going on. They'll just be at the line all game. It's not just Shea. You talked about the versatility they have defensively, which means everyone needs to be strong with the basketball. Also, being strong with the ball when they're passing to each other. Come get the basketball. Don't fade away and wait for the pass because it'll be going the other way. You talked about the great pace, the difference between pace that these two teams play with. The tough part is with OKC is it's hard to get them out of their tempo. But outside of with them playing at their pace, if you make mistakes, they can thrive in transition. So that's why it's important that you do take care of the ball. That you're on your P's and Q's because that's the difference. They're they're not gonna let you come back if they get you down. That's just they don't believe in it. So that's the challenge is be on your P's and Q's, like you said with the late game execution. Yeah, uh, the Wizards have to get better at countering when other teams guards. Obviously, you talked about the levels, the difference in levels with Shea and from Maxey with the great start to the season Maxey's having. But we've seen this over the past couple of years when other teams, primary ball handlers, their lead guards will just take control and control the game. Washington has to counter that. You counter that by being disciplined with the ball too. Being up 19, to being up 9 with 5 minutes left. You have 5 to 6 good offensive possessions. That goes back up to a double-digit lead. Maybe starters come out and you leave. You get the leave Capital One with the win. Instead, because of the chaos that was caused by Philadelphia and Washington not being sound and being able to execute, you leave with the loss like that. You can't afford that tonight. The room for error tonight is less than room for error in every other game on this young season because the Thunder there's a reason they're the reigning champs. Like you just said, you talked about what they are defensively, and I think they're still working their way back into, getting back to their normal place defensively. We're only 5 games in. They're still a really great defensive team. I'm sure we're going to check back in a month or two, and they're going to be at the level we consistently see them at.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But one thing, they've been off the 3-point shooting as a whole. They've been off to start the season. It's one of them things you still got to be careful because we know they can get hot. Chet's out, so he leads the team. He's shooting 41% from deep, but he's out, so you ain't got to deal with that, which would have been a problem because that stretches the bigs out. Sarr and Bagley and those guys would have to be out there on the perimeter to deal with him, especially in transition. Which is another point the Wizards got to get back. Like you said, Aaron Wiggins has been playing well, 38% from deep. Alex Caruso shooting 36%. Then it starts to tail off. AJ Mitchell shooting 34%. No other Thunder players shooting above 30%, including Shea and Lou Dort, who was bombing away last year. He's been off. He's been off the beginning of the year. He's shooting 17% from deep. So that's something the Wizards can kind of use to their advantage but still be aware because you could be the team they get right with and, look like OKC at least from that aspect. They've been looking like OKC from other aspects, but the totality, no. So, maybe defensively you back up off of them and crowd that mid-range, keep them out the paint, throw bodies at Shea, make Shea just feel like it's crowded as hell at all times. Since he's the primary ball handler, and you just deal with that and just play sound defense. Don't get beat backdoor. They do a lot of actions where, Lou Dort and Caruso and Case and Wild, they go backdoor on you and stuff like that. You gotta be very aware of that. And Chet's not playing. Hartenstein, you gotta keep him. You gotta keep a body on him. Keep him off the boards, man. He's capable of disrupting the game. He's big. He's physical. He averages 3 offensive rebounds a game. You can't give OKC extra possessions as well. That's why they're defending champs, man. They can beat you so many ways. So that's why I feel like it's a good test and a good measure thing. And I'm glad it's happening early so the Wizards understand where we got to be moving forward to win games. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of areas you got to look out for when you're dealing with OKC, and that requires a lot of focus for the entire game. And you can't just be focused on yourself. You got to be team focused. But again, you have no chance if you don't slow down Shea, you don't slow down those guys. So you have to deal with that end. And then offensively, you got to focus because you got to execute on that and to beat their lethal defense. You know what I mean? So, like I said, they're like piranhas. When they're on their game, they're like piranhas. You know what I mean? They pounce on you, man. They don't let go. So until you die, you know what I mean? So, yeah, but play that to your advantage. They all from three. Hopefully it continues tonight, and that make our job easier defensively because now we only got to guard 2 levels instead of 3, but still be aware. And definitely get back on in the transition and don't turn the ball over, man. And take good shots. You know, that's something else. If they killed them with the Sixers, they were taking bad shots. Yeah, Shet's not there, so you ain't got to deal with one rim protector. Hartenstein is he's not really a rim protector. He's more of a typical, just a solid defender to go down there, take the charge, box out, get the board. But he's still about 6'10", 6'11", 7 feet. So you still got to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Still size. But outside of that, you don't really have too many rim protectors that you got to deal with down the outside of Shet. Shea and Caruso for guards, they're elite shot blockers. So they'll come from behind and get you, but nothing like in your face, like what they saw with Adem Bono from the Sixers. You ain't got to deal with that. So attack them. Attack them, man. Like, don't settle. Attack. That's another thing. Just attack. But when you attack, score. Or if you got to kick it out, hit the 3. Make them pay. Make them swarm. That's how you beat a defense with ball movement. Great defense. They always rotate, make them move. Move the ball. And then when you get your shot, take it and make it. And that's about the best chance you got to beat OKC. Because if you don't do that, it could be a long night.
Like you said, regardless, it's a great early test for Washington. Look forward to seeing how this shakes out. We'll see you guys after the game, as always, for Wizards Outlook. So I appreciate you guys hanging with us for our pregame.